All right, close by Sam on a Sunday, March 1st. It's an evil one. I'm excited. It's been a good week. Let's check out what we got today. Exactly two innocents in column C are neighbor and Xavi. Two innocents in column C are neighbor and Xavi. Okay. An odd number of innocents in column D are Laura's neighbor. Odd number of innocents in column D. So it's either one or three, and they're all guards. Okay. There are exactly four innocents in column D. Well, let's think about this. If we had to have two criminals and one innocent, that only gives us space for three innocents in column D. Therefore, there must be another innocent here, and if it must be an odd number, it must be three of them. All innocent guards. Okay, let's see. There are more innocents in column A than in column C. Okay, we'll keep that in mind. Only one of the two criminals neighboring Hazel is in row 1. Two criminals around Hazel. That's six innocents around Hazel, and only one of the criminals is in here. Okay, so there's another criminal here. Okay, exactly one innocent below Brian is neighboring Flora. So there's a one innocent here. There's a 1-1 here, which means that the criminal that was gonna be in this group of three must be here. Therefore, you're an innocent. Row 2 is the only row with exactly two criminals. Row 2 is the only row with exactly two criminals. That means there needs to be at least one innocent here and at least one innocent here. Could be 2 on 2, of course, but also notice column A needs to have at least four innocents right now, right? Because there are more innocents in A than C, and C has three so far. Okay, only one criminal, only one of the two criminals that were in Hazel is in row 1. Okay. Row 2 is the only row with exactly two criminals. Row 2 is the only row with exactly two criminals. I think it has to do with row 1. Because row 1, we know there are two innocents here. Because there's only one criminal in row 1 neighboring Hazel, right? So if there are two innocents here, you must not be another criminal. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's think about it in terms of criminals. There's only one criminal here. And row 2 is the only one with exactly two. So therefore, if you were to be a criminal, that would give me two criminals in column A, in row 1. I'm sorry. Therefore, you must be an innocent. There are more criminals in column B than in column D. Well, column D has exactly one criminal. We know that because there are four innocents. Therefore, you must have a second criminal. We know there's a criminal here, right? There's a 1-1 here. Therefore, we know there must be a second criminal at least. It could be two criminals, right? You could have criminal, 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 innocent. That could be one way in which this works out. What other things can I deduce? I know there is a 1-1 here, 2-1 here. I need one more innocent here, and then one more innocent here, and one more innocent here. There are more innocents in column A than in column C. What else do I know? Only one of the two criminals in neighboring Hazel is in row 1. Okay. Exactly one innocent below Brian is neighboring Flora. Right, that we already know. There are exactly four innocents in column D. There are more criminals in column B than in column D. It's a tricky one right now. I need at least two criminals in B, in column B. There must be something I'm missing here. Another conclusion I haven't made. Only one of the two criminals neighboring Hazel is in row 1. The other one is in B2 or B3. There are more innocents in column A than in column C. I don't know. Is that 5 innocents? No, that wouldn't make sense. Um, row 2 is the only row with exactly 2 criminals. Exactly 2 criminals. What else can I know? Exactly one. There are more criminals in column B than in column D. Man, I feel like I have reached every logical conclusion. There are more innocents in column A than in column C. Only one of the 2 criminals neighboring Hazel is in row 1. Exactly one innocent below Brian is neighboring Flora. And that's here. One innocent here. Here's another innocent. Row 2 is the only row with exactly 2 criminals. You're gonna have 1 criminal here. You're gonna have 2 criminals here. You're gonna have at most 1 criminal, at most 1 criminal, and at most 1 criminal. Hmm. What to do? What to do? There are exactly 4 innocents in column D. So I need a criminal in column D. If you were to be a criminal, you will have to be innocent. You will be innocent. That gives me a 1-1 here. Nothing really comes out of there. If you were to be innocent, you could be whatever. You will be a criminal. Innocent, innocent. And then what? Again, I don't have anything. You could be whatever. All of you could be whatever. Let me think. Let me think. More criminals in column B than in column D. There are 2 criminals in column D. Column B, 2 or 3. 2 or 3 criminals in column B. Well, if it were to be 3, right, we will get this situation right here. And I believe. You have 4, which means column A must have 5. Should make you both criminals. Should make you innocent. Is Hazel mandated to be a criminal? Well, from what I have just discovered, either Brian or Erwin are the criminals. I think Derek is always innocent. If you're a criminal, you will be innocent and innocent. That will make you a criminal. If you're a criminal, you must be an innocent. And now what do I know? Must you be an innocent or a criminal? If you were to be a criminal, I could have 4 innocents here. If you were to be an innocent, this will give me 5 innocents here, right? But then I need to have at least 2 criminals. Oh, okay. You cannot be an innocent because then that forces this column to be all innocent, and I need a second criminal here. So in this case, if you were to be a criminal, you have to be a criminal too, which I believe was the same conclusion that I made before. Hazel is always criminal. Now I have a 1-1 here and a 1-1 here. You're an innocent. What else do I know? Column B needs 2 criminals, so you must be a criminal. You must be an innocent then, because you cannot have 2 criminals. And then what? Then we could do. Let me think. If you were to be the criminal, you will be an innocent. You will be an innocent. You could be whatever, because I already have 4, and that's more than 3. And then if you were to be innocent, you have to be a criminal. You will have to be a criminal. And if you were to be a criminal, you will need to be an innocent. So I think there's a way. I think you cannot be an innocent, is what I'm drawing here. You being an innocent gives me 2 criminals here, gives me an innocent here. Uh, gives me you cannot be an innocent, because that will give me 4. That will give me this situation here where I have 2 criminals here, and then that gives me 4 innocents in column C and 4 innocents in column A, and that's not possible. Therefore, you're a criminal. Bingo. All criminals in column B are connected. Well, I know there's a criminal here. There's a 1-1 here. Therefore, there's a second criminal here. So column B has 2 criminals. I have a 1-1 here. What else do I know? If you were to be an innocent, I will have to have 4 innocents here. Just give me a criminal here, an innocent here, criminal here. Innocent, innocent. Is that okay? That's okay. That's a case that can work. If you were to be a criminal, innocent, innocent, I wouldn't make you a criminal because then I'll have an innocent here and that will separate my criminals. Therefore, you're an innocent. Criminal, criminal. Only 1 criminal per row. I need a second criminal. And then I have 3 innocents in column A and I have 3 in column C. Therefore, you must be an innocent. You will be a criminal. Again, this can work. There's a way to make it work whether Derek is innocent or criminal. Right? Therefore, I don't know which one it is. What was the I've lost track of my cases. That's an indication I should be sketching them out. Okay, so case where Derek is a criminal, innocent, innocent, criminal, not more than 1 criminal, so innocent. Criminals must be touching in column B's, therefore innocent, criminal, criminal, not more than 1 criminal per row, other than you, where you need a second criminal. And so in this case, this is red, Derek in red, right? Let's hide that. Let's go to the next case, Derek in green. If you are an innocent, that gives me 4 innocents in column C, and column A needs to have more. Therefore, column A will have 5. Okay. I need 2 criminals in column B, therefore Gabe will be criminal. I need both criminals to be touching in column B. Therefore, you're gonna be a criminal. You're gonna be an innocent. You're gonna be a criminal. And then I'm gonna have 2 innocents here because there are 2 criminals in column B. Does this work? I believe it does work. Did anybody not change colors? These 3 here didn't change colors. Erwin didn't change colors? Hot dang, I drew the same check marker on Erwin. That's awesome. All right, in this case, let's do one more scenario where we say Erwin is red. If Erwin were to be red, you will be an innocent. You will be an innocent and you will be an innocent. 4 innocents in C imply 5 innocents in A. Therefore, all of these are innocent. I need a second criminal here, and I need both all my criminals to be connected, which wouldn't work because there's a 1-1 here. Therefore, Erwin is innocent. Erwin being innocent. So few criminals. I bet they're shaking their boots. I know there's a criminal in D. Only one person in a corner has exactly one criminal neighbor. Only one person in a corner has exactly one criminal neighbor. Only one person in a corner has exactly one criminal neighbor. So you have a 1-1 here. So you already have one criminal. You have a 1-1 here. You have one criminal. You can have two innocents here. Only one person in the corner has a criminal neighbor. Say you're criminal, you will be an innocent. You will be the one with one criminal. Therefore, you will have to have two innocents. Ah, okay, so I think what I'm finding... Okay, so let's run this through its paces, eh? Let's run through the scenario. Oops. This. We'll name this Derek Red. If you were to be a criminal, you will have to be an innocent. I know there's a 1-1 here. You have two criminals, you have no criminals, and then you have one criminal, and only one person in a corner has one criminal. Therefore, you must have none, because you're not gonna have two, right? Like if this person had two criminals, row 4 will have two criminals, and that's not true because only row 2 has two criminals. Therefore, you're both innocent. Okay, but now think about this. Where do I put the two criminals in column B? There's only one space for them, right? And the space is here, but I must have just one criminal here. Therefore, Derek is not a criminal. You're an innocent. You are a criminal. You have only one criminal. You're gonna have two criminals. You're gonna have no criminals, I believe. That holds true, right? Because the criminals must be touching in column B. Therefore, you're innocent and you're innocent. Therefore, you are innocent. What else do I know? What else do I know? 4 innocents in column C imply 5 innocents in column A. Done. That was it. 18 minutes. Dang. Pretty close. That was pretty good though. Not a high percentage though. Didn't get into the top 50 or anything like that. Maybe I take too long thinking about this during the videos. Okay, let's take a look at the flavor text. Keep your shirt on, smarty pants. We're still here. That's funny. I'd roll up my sleeves, but I'm afraid I'd lose my shirt. So few criminals. I bet they're shaking in their boots. At least we didn't have any wolf in sheep's clothing. You know what they say? If the sock fits, wear it. But where did the criminals go? I was about to throw down the gauntlet. I hope this week wasn't just a dress rehearsal for next week. I hope we get to keep our socks on next week. If every day was this difficult, we'd all be barefoot and hatless. Stealing our socks yesterday was such a blow below the belt. That's funny. All right, that's the clues by Sam. I'm gonna publish these early. Usually put these on Mondays. I'm gonna experiment with just releasing it as soon as it's ready. All right, so I hope you have a good week, and I hope I'll catch you next Sunday, hopefully at an earlier time. All right, bye bye for now.